I mean, we only get an extra day once every 4 years, so you may as well do something with it. So, what I've decided to do with February 29th is I'm going to read books that feature a leap day. So, they're going to be like around a leap day or something happens on leap day. Obviously, this video is going to come out on leap day. So, I am starting it already on the 6th of February. I have started A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. It is my first Tia Williams book. I have got 7 Days in June on my TBR. I've had it with a really long time, but I really want to get to it in June this year. But I don't know how Tia Williams writing worked for me until I got in here, and it flows so well. I read a couple of chapters of it last night before I went to sleep, and I had such a great time with it. It was the kind of book that I didn't want to put down. The only problem that I'm having with it is that the NetGalley copy that I got was a little bit badly formatted. So sentences will break off and then go into a new line, or words even will break off and go into a new line, which does take me out of the story a little bit. But overall, I'm having a really good time with it. It's about the Wilde family, who are basically big names in funerals in their town in southern US. I think it's somewhere in Louisiana. And Ricky is the youngest of the four daughters, and she really wants to kind of break away from what her family is doing. So she heads off to New York, and I think when she's in New York, it kind of picks up around September 23 to February 24. And I think when she heads off to New York, it kind of starts from September 2023 to, I think, February 2024. And I'm assuming that that's also going to include Leap Year Day in that. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to work. I think her family are completely insane. They feel very kind of Kardashian-like in their ideas, in their values, in their work ethics, in their kind of ideas of what they're going to bring to the business to make a big splash. For example, one of them wants to make a cafe where when you have just been told that your loved one has passed away, you go and you have tea and cake afterwards, which sounds comforting, but also sounds a little bit insane. So I'm going to see how this one goes. I've got a second book in mind, which I think is called Once Upon a Leap Year by Anna Bell. I've read a couple of books by Anna Bell before. I know I enjoy her writing style, but it was a couple of years ago. So I might have changed paths since then. I might have wanted to read different things since then, but let us see how that goes. All I know is that I want to spend the lead up to the 29th of February reading books that have something to do with that day. As we speak, I am 64% of the way through A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. I'm on sprints with Brittany and Leandra, and I have set myself the challenge to get to 80% of this book this evening, or Brittany's going to have to come and steal all my shoes. I am genuinely really enjoying this, but I was in a little bit of a slump for last week. I don't know what caused it, I don't know what put me into it, but this book is starting to get me out of it. It is really genuinely starting to grip me now, especially because there seems to be a kind of a magical realism point to this book. There seems to be a kind of the curtain between this world and the other world is thinner on a leap day. Kind of the same thing as Halloween between our world and the world of the dead. It's not technically the same thing, but there is a kind of a on a leap day in a leap year, these things will happen in February, which is really, really interesting. And I know now what the connection between the past and now is. I know I didn't expect it to be a kind of a dual timeline, but the dual timeline is kind of fading away a little bit more. And I'm so, so intrigued to see where we're going to go with this one. I should hopefully get to the 80% tonight. I might even finish it, depending on how long Brittany wants to go on spins for. Let's see how we get along with it. It is a Saturday morning. I have just gotten out of the shower and I have 4 videos that I want to edit and get ready. But I also have updates about Ricky Wilde. I didn't finish it on sprints, so I do owe Brittany some shoes. But I did finish it last night. I sat on my couch and I got the whole way through it. And it was so good. I am so mesmerized by Tia Williams' writing style. I cannot wait for June to get 7 Days in June read, because I feel like I have to read that in June. But I really enjoyed A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. I will admit that it took me quite a while to get into it, and I think it was because I was in a reading slump. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying the book. It wasn't because I wasn't having a good time with it. It was just because I was feeling a little bit slumpy. I really enjoyed the kind of rollout of the magical realism aspect to this book. I really enjoyed the kind of rollout of how this person had come to be in two different time parts. I really enjoyed getting to know not just Ricky, but also all of the characters that we get to know when she moves to New York, such as Della, who is like a surrogate grandmother to her, and her best friend Tuesday, and her co-workers in the shop that she is owning. I don't want to go too far into spoilers, but there was a kind of a reveal about 75 to 80% of the way through the book, and I saw none of it coming. I realized that I should have seen some of it coming because there were things that pointed towards it, and if I had been paying a little bit more attention, or if I had been a little bit more astute, I probably have picked up on that. I probably have known, oh, that's exactly where we're going with this. Oh, that's what T.M. Williams wants to tell me. Straight over my head. I'm gonna go and edit these videos, and then I'm going to get started on the next book that I have got for this vlog. I am enjoying this one more than I thought that I would, because this is very much not a romance book. It's a contemporary women's fiction, literary fiction, chick lit if you want to call it that. I've read a couple of books by Annabelle before, so I knew that I enjoyed the writing style, but it is also a writing style and a storytelling that I have moved away from recently. I've gone into more romance, more contemporary romance, steamier, but I'm having a good time with this one. It's about Lucy and Noah. They meet at the beginning of the book because Lucy's ex-boyfriend, so boyfriend at the time, brought them on a kind of a booze cruise, or like a bus that is going to France to buy alcohol for a party that evening. And Lucy is pretty pissed off because it's her birthday. It's the 29th of February. She only gets one birthday every 4 years that she can actually celebrate it on the day. And she and her friends kind of think that because he told her bring her passport, that she's going to Paris for the weekend, or she's going to Paris for the day, or something like that. And when she's on the bus, she finds out that there's another Leap baby on the bus. And then she and Noah, who are the Leap babies, they meet up and they form a really strong friendship. And then every book is set into parts around the Leap Day of every specific year. So right now I am just after finishing reading Leap Day 2008. I'm really interested in this book. There are some really interesting side characters that I am genuinely looking forward to following. There are some relationships that I'm getting invested in. There are relationships that I want to see do well. There's like all of the chaos and all of the drama that you get from being in your first year of college and getting to know people and doing these really shitty part-time jobs that take away from your time studying or going out with your friends. And then there are the friends that become family, and then there are the family that you don't really see eye to eye with all the time, but you try your best to get along with them. I had almost talked myself out of reading the book. I had almost talked myself out of even picking it up, because I said, you know what, it's not what you enjoy reading anymore. It's not the kind of thing that you want to read, so why would you pick it up? And then I said, no, I actually just want to finish this vlog out, number one. And number two, I think I need to give it a college try. I think I need to actually give it a try before I can say that this isn't for me. And I'm really glad that I said that. I'm really glad that I sat down and said, actually, you know what? Stick with it. Give it a try. I'm having a really good time. I'm really having a good time. I'm going to continue reading some of it on my lunch break today, and I'm going to see how I get along with it even further. But you know what? This is such a good book. About 15-20 minutes ago, I turned the final pages on Once Upon a Leap Year, and I enjoyed it. It was a good, solid 4-star read. There were a couple of things that didn't really love about it. For some reason, we think that the first words of Bohemian Rhapsody are "Mama just killed a man," rather than "Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?" But the storyline overall was really enjoyable. The storyline overall was really entertaining. It was really engaging. It was so interesting to see how life changes you every 4 years. And you don't think to yourself, oh, every 4 years I'm going to be in a different place, I'm going to be a different person, I might know different people, I might be working in a different place, living in a different house. You don't really think about the small changes or the bigger changes that go through your life every 4 years. But it's a significant chunk of time that so much change can happen. Something else that I really liked about this book, and something that I have discovered I like about books as a whole, is a story which focuses on the changing friendships that you have as an adult when you are in a different situation of your life as your friends are. Perhaps you are the only one of your friendship group who's married, or you were the last one of your friendship group to have a child, or you're the only one in your friendship group who doesn't want to have a child. It can bring such a different dynamic to the group when one of you has to think about a partner who is at home, or the rest of them have to think about a small human who is in the house and you don't have to think about that. Or even if you've just moved away and they're all living in one area and you're living in a different town or city or postcode or whatever. It's such an interesting dynamic. I really enjoy reading stories like that. I really enjoy reading stories about the changes that friendships can go through as they naturally evolve. It turns out that it's something I'm super into. So if I find any more books that have it, I'm definitely going to go and pick those up. But overall, I feel like I have heralded in the leap year in a sufficient manner. I have read 2 books. I have enjoyed 2 books which feature the leap year or leap day in some fashion, and genuinely, I've had a great time with it. I think I've made good use out of the extra 24 hours in this year. If you would love to leave me a comment for this vlog, but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me a frog emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My other thumb is here because I have videos up every single week. Now, get on out of here.